Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Alex Antuna, and today I'm going to continue on this Zbrush model. I'm going to try to get a little bit more poly paint going. So what I did earlier, just now, I clicked on this mask ambient occlusion. I have it set to 2, and what I want to do is kind of paint in a little bit more ambient occlusion, cheating it, and we're going to kind of see what it does. I want to get some of those rough areas going. I don't want him to be too clean. I want him to show a little more grit, a little more creature. I think the way he was, look at that. He's getting juicy details in there. Pretty cool. I want him to pop a little bit more. Let's see how this does. This is where layers probably would have been handy, but we're not going that route. We're going this way. So we'll see what happens. We're just gonna keep adding detail. Just going in here, going in there, getting some of those rough wrinkles and edges, and we can always paint back over it to kind of blend back the other way too. So. No real harm. It's just, I think for me, I'd like to kind of move this along. I want to move it along a little bit faster. So let's just kind of get a little artistic with it, and just kind of free up a little bit of that. So that's looking a little crazy. So now when you look at them, maybe he got a little dirty on his face, but we can go back and start improvising a little bit more. So when you look at him, let's see what he looks like with some lighting. Let's see how this works. The other way we can do is to go down to this poly paint. Just a thought, an option. And we're going to go to adjust colors, and let's see if we can adjust the color just slightly. So we'll frame this. Let's see what we can lighten. This is everything RGB. Let's see what it does. Too much color. These are overall. Changes the whole look when you change the colors. Well, of course it would, right? But you know what I mean. It just kind of, the vibe changes with it. Let's go somewhere else. Let's kind of think. Was that a good idea? Could have been. Let me do this. We're going to go back to where it was just the AO. And I got an idea. Just bear with me real quick. I'm going to try to see if I can get back to that original state. Because I like the AO. I just don't like it that heavy. Okay, so we're going to go one click. There we go. Right there. So what I'm going to do is create a layer. This is, make a new layer. We can name it AO. Two letters of the alphabet. And for anybody new to ZBrush, if you go up here or press the letter B on your keyboard, you can push P. And I'm using this first one just in case you're curious. And we'll select this. So this paint should apply to this layer. So let's go ahead and see what it does. Because we can go ahead and get them grunged up and kind of give and take away. I like how it's kind of popping them, but at the same time it's like a little too much, right? A little too aggressive. So let's go here Does it? So I'm holding the Alt button to see if it'll take it away, and it does, but I didn't want this to be that heavy. I think this is the actual AO that was my first try. Gave it too much grunge. Gave it too much. Yeah. So this is the good thing about this. So if we're doing this, we turn off the record button. You can toggle this off, and to see what it would be. It's real heavy, right? See? And I think this is from the first AO pass that I did. I went too far, so I'm gonna delete that. What I'm going to do is go down here to, where are you at? I'm looking right at it, aren't I? Masking right there. So we're going to turn on the AO. We have it at 2. I don't want it that high. Let's keep it real subtle. Maybe even 0.5. We'll just do that. We're going to push this button right here. ZBrush is going to think. Sometimes it thinks for a very long time if you got a heavy model. This is at 23 million polys. So it's got to go through the whole model and do its calculations and processing. So I'm just kind of give it a few minutes. Not a few minutes. I mean like hopefully seconds. Let's see what it does. I'm gonna pause it just so you don't have to wait through this. Okay, it took a little bit, but we're gonna invert this. So I should have something now. Let me go to layers and make a new layer and repeat, rinse and repeat. So we're going to name it AO just because we want to be fancy. And then we're going to get this brush. Oop, wrong thing. Get my brush. Hope that didn't erase it. Don't you tell me you erased it. I bet that was an undo. Let's see. Okay, good. So now this should be painting on that layer. We're going to kind of get some of these. Just kind of tease it in there. Went too heavy. Too heavy on it, and I'm just gonna kind of just give a little more detail. You can see like slightly in there. It's pretty cool. Get this up there, get that detail in there, and let's see how far we can get during my lunch period. Working fast, just so you know we can kind of imagine. Just imagine that deadline looming over you, and you got to get this out. So no time wasted. Just keep going. Sometimes I find if without that deadline, you overthink things, or that imaginary deadline if you're working on your personal project, and you can go spin your wheels too much. That's what I do, or that's how I feel. I feel I spin my wheels too much when I don't have a set time, because we assume we have that extra time, and we don't. You never know. Something will come up, computer issues, and then you're like, man, I should have used that time wisely when I had it. Then when you don't have it, just miss it. And you gotta wait. So, all right, so I'm gonna turn this off. And now that's a little bit better. See that? It's kind of a smoother. If we really wanted to, we could have smoothed that mask on there. So this is a little bit. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna turn off this record button and uncheck this eyeball, and you can see the before and after. So what's good about this layer is that we can drop it down, and I'll probably put it about 0.75, just enough to tease it back in there. And if we really want to, we can do it on the opposite end of doing like highlights and stuff like that. But I think we're pretty good where we're at. I just wanted a little of that pop. Depending on how much I want to get into this, let's see how it looks. I think the next step we want to do is actually start retopologizing, so we can do a hide a little bake. Because what I can also do is add more textures in Marmoset on top of this. So it just depends. The tongue will be unwrapped and everything else. Probably start simple and then go from there. We'll start with this tongue and just add as we go. So let's try to keep this flow going. This purple texture, I don't mind it. It kind of reminds me of like a He-Man character. But let's see what we got. And that color's a little dark in there. It's looking okay. Let's go ahead and see what else we can add. We'll start the retopology of this model. I think what I'll do is export it into, well, let's do this. Let's do a single test. Let's do this. This will be just on the tongue. Let's see how that does. We'll duplicate this. And we'll just see what happens. Can't hurt. If the tool's there, I'm not trying to make this complicated. Let's go to solo. So what I did, for anybody curious, this is the high poly, we'll just name it. Come on, computer. It's lagging a little bit right now. Well, I guess it's all these objects making it slow, but so I'm gonna retopologize this and see what happens. Let's see how it looks. If it does work pretty good. And we can go to solo. We've got the tongue. I didn't texture it. I didn't even unwrap it, but we'll see. See remesh and go to. We can probably have the target 1000. Let's turn on the poly frame and let's go to Z remesh and see what it does. Because it might do a perfect job. Why work harder? I said might. We'll find out. Could have been better. Could have been better. Let's turn on legacy and see what it does. I think this is something I might retopologize by hand a little bit. Clear the history. I don't know what's eating up my memory. Something's not letting go. Let go. All right, undo. Where'd you go? Quick save. Is it here? No, it should be here. Let's keep it down or something. I don't know. Let's see what that's going on. Computer started stuttering. It's kind of hard to grab hold of anything. So, okay, let's look at this. Not too bad. And there you go. Look at that. It did okay. I think that's pretty decent. Let's turn this off. So now I have a mesh for his tongue to do a high to low, and if you really want to, if you're like, man, I don't know if that did right, so let's go to V2 right here. See that little V2? I'm clicking that. I'm gonna turn this on, this on. Let's go here. You can go to project right here and project all. So yes, yeah, take it all. Take all the poly paint. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. So we'll solo that out. And if we need UV mapping on this, let's just turn it for that. We can do the UV map. So we can grab this plugin, and this is going to be pretty much the whole process. I'm gonna either get a high poly or a low poly, and then go from there. You can work on a clone. I'm just gonna push unwrap, see what it does, and then we can flatten. There's the laid out mesh. So what I'm gonna do is go into, we don't really need the texture on there, and we don't need that. So I'll show you. So since it created a UV map, we can go to a texture. We can open this up. There's one in here that's pretty good for viewing textures. Go to here, see this one? So if you're curious if it's something that you think would work, then you can see that it's all uniform right here. But look at this. You don't want that. You don't want any of that stretching. So not the best job. It could probably be solved by let's go to here, turn that off, turn you off. Let me get a better texture. Go here. Okay. I'm gonna turn off symmetry. And do it again. Nope. Come on, buddy. Let's see if it'll do. It kind of worked. So what we can do is go to modeler, and we're gonna hold spacebar, poly group, and then I'm gonna click, and then you gotta hold shift and then release. It's silly. So what we did was copied that. You know that whole thing right there is a pain to learn. Every time I watch a tutorial, it's just like, I don't get it. What? Click, shift, release, and then what? So that's where it's at. So let's try this again. Go polygroup symmetry, and let's go to unwrap. Try it again. And instead of going to flatten, we can look at it. Looks decent. We're going to turn on the texture, and look at that. It looks a lot better. You can take this into another program or any other program and unwrap it with Blender or 3D Max, Maya, whatever you use. This seemed to work okay. It doesn't look like it's stretching. It looks like it's uniform and pretty clean. All the squares are even. That's what you want when you unwrap. So that's one thing in the bank. So I'm going to use this high poly detail to project onto the slow poly detail and just go from there. And we'll rinse and repeat. That was probably an easier one because it was just that little piece. Then the teeth, you know, look at that. There's some weird geometry in there. He's got a old tooth coming in. It gets a little tricky when you do stuff like that. So if I turn off dynamic, I should probably be able to auto group it and remove those. So auto group, and then we're gonna hold Control Shift, click, and then click and drag. Got rid of that, and then click this one. Oh, not that one. This one. Gone. Right? And then delete hidden. It's right here. For anybody learning ZBrush, it's over here. Ooh, where'd you go? Modify topology. Delete hidden. And I made a button. Maybe if you look up some videos on customization, it helps. You know, customize all you can. It's like your art table, really. So delete. So that's gone. So now we can auto group. And it's going pretty good. And what we can do is unwrap everything here and then go from there. So we're going to group by normals so that it pulls these caps off. I don't really need those tops. In fact, that's just extra geometry. So let's start cleaning that up. I only got a few more minutes, but let's just start. Let's just get it going. So we're gonna remove. So all those caps are gonna stay there, but we're gonna hide all these bottom pieces. Been a lot easier if I left on symmetry to do this. And the other thing is that I probably should randomize them better. So delete hidden. So going from here, get them all. And what it's probably a good idea to do if you really got the time, randomize it. Nothing's perfect in life, and that's how sometimes these meshes, you gotta just randomize them a little bit to kind of give a little bit of, make it real, you know. Not to be too much, just enough. So you get the point. And we're gonna repeat that same thing down here, and I'm out of time. A lot of it was just waiting for that ambient occlusion to bake, but we got some of this in there. Still poly painting, and we've got the low poly. You saw the kind of that process, but that same process needs to happen to the big one, the big model. And if the retopologizing works, we might go that route. Might not be a bad idea. I think what I'll do is, if we do that, we'll use these topology guides to kind of guide it a little bit better. But I'd have to test it, and I don't think you want to watch me waiting and pressing and waiting and pressing and waiting. So save it for next time, or on the downtime I'll try to do that so that you don't have to wait through this. But it's about the end of this video. Hope everybody's doing well. Keep making art, keep doing some art, keep creating, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.